The Rise of Skywalker is still over a half a year away, but thankfully, we just got a brand new piece out of Vanity Fair that allows us to see more of what's to come. And what is to come is fucking blowing my mind. Okay, first of all, let's talk about the Knights of Ren in this article. These 6 guys look absolutely batshit crazy in a very good way. If I had to compare what I am seeing with something that I love, it would be Mad Max. And that is something that I compared the Cloud Riders to in Solo: A Star Wars Story. I wonder if J.J. Abrams was a little inspired by what he saw in Solo. Either way, just the look of these guys is pure Star Wars to me. I'm loving the weapons designs. We have what seems to be a wide array of weapons across the 6 knights. It's too bad that we can't see the 2 of them that are behind JJ, but either way, this is what I personally have been waiting to see as far as the final installment goes concerning bad guys. I want the Knights of Ren, and now I got them, and I cannot wait to see them in action. What is interesting too is that under the line of this photo mentions that they are elite, fearsome enforcers of Kylo Ren's dark will. There doesn't seem to be any references about Luke's lost Jedi, so I am still curious who these knights will turn out to be under these masks. The next thing that really made my jaw drop open for a few reasons was the picture of Luke. What I do know about Luke in this film is really interesting, but it doesn't take up too much time as far as what I know. I will say, this image seems to further solidify what I have heard about Luke. I love that Luke is standing atop some mountain fully ablaze with fire from the remnants of some explosion or crash. It does appear that he is facing someone. Maybe it's Rey, maybe it's Kylo. And I do know that we have heard that Luke's runtime in Rise of the Skywalker is short and perhaps only a cameo. Knowing that he might have an extremely limited screen presence doesn't worry me whatsoever. Remember, Darth Vader had 9 minutes of screen time in A New Hope. 1 minute with Luke could become something very important, but we just have to wait and see. Finally, I'm really curious on R2 being with Luke. If this is only a promotional image, it makes sense to include the best buddy droid, but if this is actually happening in the film, it would lead me to believe the Resistance made contact with Ahch-To in this film, or Rey herself leaves R2 with Luke. Now, don't quote me on that, but it just makes me curious. After this, the next image that blew me away was Zorri Bliss, played by Keri Russell. Originally, I thought Zorri looked like a Power Ranger. Not anymore. The details of her purple and gold setup are fantastic. There seems to be some sort of writing on one of her belts, and she has 2 really classy looking blasters at her side. But honestly, the best thing is her helmet. This seems really like something familiar yet new. Plus, I believe this is Zorri on the snow planet we saw in the teaser, and that planet is called Kijimi. Kijimi? I don't know. And the ship heading towards the snow planet is in fact the one we saw leave Rey on Jakku. I'm not saying my sister theory is true or anything, but I feel like that being Zorri's ship might actually be true now. Again, we will have to wait and see. Next up, we see General Hux in Allegiant General Pryde, as played by Richard E. Grant. And he's looking pretty menacing. Pryde kind of seems similar to Kennedy to me. You know, I really loved Kennedy in The Last Jedi, and I kind of want him to be the person rising in this film, if I'm honest with myself. And I also love that we get this confirmation that Kylo has his own destroyer in this, and I suppose that should have been obvious to me, but I honestly was having a bit of a tough time seeing Kylo leading the First Order after The Last Jedi. I do love the design of this meeting room. It feels like a modern take on the meeting room in A New Hope. Black and red, it's slick, it's like an Apple Store designed First Order vessel. The image of Finn alongside the newcomer Naomi Aki hit those kind of classic Jim Henson Willow vibes with me. JJ filmed regular horses and added these faces onto them, it looks like. I kinda love this weird take on horses much more than the Fathiers, if I'm honest. They look real, they look grounded, like something I could actually go out and ride. And I like that Naomi's character, named Jannah, has this like crossbow as her main weapon. Sure, it seems a little strange, right? A bow and arrow, whatever. But for me, it's just an analog bowcaster. It looks like it's going to do some damage, and Jannah and Finn look like they are ready to charge into a battle of some sort in this image. We do get a lot of images of the skiff sequence, and perhaps the Knights of Ren and the First Order are involved in this scene together. We see a very quick glimpse of this in the teaser, but it looks like it's going to be a very climactic chase in the film. And as always, what is Star Wars without sand? Daisy said herself that she felt nostalgic for returning back to the sand planet. It started off in the sand, it's ending in the sand. Just like each trilogy, it's fitting. Also, Rey looks amazing. Sure, she's a bit dirty, but I'm liking all of the white attire. Rey is unquestionable in her allegiance to do good, as far as I'm concerned, and how she looks reflects this. Always wearing white, or lighter colors. Now, there have been minor moments of potential darkness in her, as we saw in The Force Awakens at the end, facing Kylo Ren, and in The Last Jedi, when Luke was worried about her power. But her struggle really never seemed to be with the Force itself, but with herself and her feelings of abandonment. I think we're going to be meeting a much stronger version of Rey in regards to how she deals with her own past and paves her own way for her own future. Now, Threepio is also said to have a very important role in this film, and we see him as part of this big chase scene. I really love that this film will highlight Threepio in a new way that brings brevity to his character. And I'm sure it'll be goofy, but probably very meaningful. And that's Star Wars. Goofy and meaningful. The image of Billy Dee and the Falcon feels right to me. It's totally nostalgic for sure, but having Billy Dee in the film, donning the yellow outfit we saw in Solo is great. I like the nod to Solo, to be honest. Chewie looks like he's getting younger, but that's alright with me, I guess. In wake of the passing of Peter Mayhew, I'm just happy to see Chewie again. Now, Poe, on the other hand, kind of looks like Indiana Jones in a Star Wars galaxy, right? And we were all told that there is some kind of grand adventure, so it makes sense to me that he would have some extra bits and bobs added to his attire for his trek with Finn and Rey. Now, this other image of new Star Wars aliens looks straight out of the Jim Henson Creature Shop. They are called the Aki Aki, or Aki Aki, I have zero idea. Natives of the planet Pasana. To me, they look like a religious group. Maybe these are the same Force mystics similar to Tekka, the Church of the Force. They also look quite similar to a leaked image of an alien sitting on top of a sleeping baby. If you saw that leak, you know what I'm talking about. Either way, this trilogy did seem a little bit light on the bizarre, and this looks the right kind of bizarre, and I'm hoping that we do get a good portion of time with these aliens. Now for the main event. Kylo and Rey, lightsabers drawn, on top of some sort of vessel, has me shook to the core of my being. It's a majestic image, no doubt. If I had to take a wild guess, they might be on top of the remnants of the Death Star, since there's so much water splashing around them. I can only imagine that that is ocean water. The other thing is it appears that they aren't exactly looking at each other, but kind of facing towards a middle area where perhaps something will be composited in. If they are officially fighting here, it's going to be pretty epic either way. Kylo Ren and Rey are the heart of these films in my opinion. Adam Driver even mentions their maybe bond being far more significant in The Rise of Skywalker than we imagined. If that doesn't reek of Reylo and Bendemption, I don't know what does. I'm absolutely okay with these things not occurring how I think they will, but I'd say I have no doubt that there will be some moment of connection between these two again, and hopefully that connection helps Mr. Ben Solo to rise. As a final note, the cover of the Vanity Fair magazine is Kylo, and then the other one is Rey. Kylo is sort of aligned on the left in one magazine, and Rey is aligned on the right. This image is said to hold some secret meaning about the characters in the film. For me, it could be a few things. One, here are our two new leading Force users after the official defeat of the Sith. Ben and Rey, both perfect embodiments of the Ashla and Bogan. Maybe what this image is showing us is that there is a sun rising. Maybe this is a little inside thing with the photographer saying the sun will rise. Now that's like really looking into this, but as this person said, there is some meaning in this picture that has to do with the characters. Either way, all of this is super fun to speculate about. And I always say, don't get too hung up on theories so that you can't even enjoy the movie as it is. And that's all I have to say about this really awesome article with these really amazing images. I hope you have enjoyed me talking about the latest Star Wars news. May the Force be with you, and this is the AT-AT Chat signing off.